The night was eerily still as a full moon cast a ghostly pallor over the dense woods of the Pacific Northwest. In the shadows, unseen eyes watched the world go by, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This was the domain of Ted Bundy, a man whose charm was as lethal as his brutality. Bundy was an enigma. To those who knew him casually, he was the epitome of charm, intelligent, good-looking, and personable. Yet, beneath this disarming exterior lurked a predator, a man whose darkness knew no bounds. His modus operandi was as cunning as it was horrifying. He would feign injury or disability, preying on the kindness of strangers, drawing them into his web of terror. One such evening, Ted's eyes fell upon a young woman named Linda. She was walking to her car after a late night at work, her steps quickening as she felt an inexplicable sense of dread. Suddenly, she heard a voice behind her. "Excuse me, miss. Could you help me with something?" Turning, she saw a man with his arm in a sling. He was handsome and well-dressed, his eyes warm and sincere. Against her better judgment, she approached. "Sure, what do you need?" she asked, trying to keep the tremor out of her voice. "My car's just over there. Could you help me load something into the trunk? I had an accident earlier, and my arm's not quite up to the task." Linda hesitated but eventually nodded, following him to a darkened corner of the parking lot. The feeling of unease grew stronger with each step, but Ted's reassuring smile kept her moving forward. As they reached his car, Ted's demeanor shifted imperceptibly. He opened the trunk, revealing a clutter of everyday items. Just as Linda leaned in to help, she felt a sharp pain at the back of her head, and darkness consumed her. When Linda awoke, she was in a dimly lit basement, bound and gagged. Panic surged through her veins as she took in her surroundings. The walls were lined with grim mementos of past victims. Ted's voice broke the silence, calm and casual, as if discussing the weather. "Welcome, Linda. You're probably wondering why you're here. The truth is, I need you to be part of my collection." His words were cold, devoid of any humanity. Linda struggled against her bonds, but it was futile. Ted's eyes gleamed with a twisted delight as he watched her efforts. "Don't bother. No one's going to hear you. This place is soundproof." The days turned into a nightmarish blur. Ted's behavior was erratic. One moment he was the charming gentleman, the next a sadistic monster. He would talk to Linda, sharing snippets of his life, his crimes, as if they were old friends catching up. The psychological torment was as brutal as the physical. He would leave her alone for hours, letting the darkness and isolation gnaw at her sanity. Every creak of the floorboards, every distant sound, filled her with dread, wondering if he was coming back to end it all. Linda was not the first, nor would she be the last, to experience Ted Bundy's horrific duality. His reign of terror spanned years, claiming the lives of countless women across several states. His ability to blend in, to appear as the quintessential good guy, made him all the more dangerous. It wasn't until 1975 that Ted's mask began to crack. A routine traffic stop led to his arrest, and the subsequent investigation uncovered a pattern of abductions and murders. Yet, even behind bars, Ted's charisma didn't wane. He managed to escape custody twice, exploiting the trust and underestimation of those around him. In 1978, during his second escape, he committed some of his most heinous acts, attacking 4 women at the Chi Omega sorority house in Florida, killing 2. The brutality of these murders shocked the nation, but it was his capture and trial that truly revealed the depth of his depravity. Bundy chose to represent himself in court, turning the trial into a macabre spectacle. His legal knowledge and confident demeanor captivated the media, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. Witnesses, forensic evidence, and his own chilling confessions painted a picture of a man whose charm was nothing more than a mask for his monstrous nature. In 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair. His death brought a sense of closure to many, but the scars he left behind would never fully heal. The families of his victims, the survivors, and even those who only knew of him through the news, were haunted by the knowledge that such evil could hide behind such a charming facade. The story of Ted Bundy serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most unassuming individuals. His ability to manipulate and deceive, to blend into society while committing unspeakable acts, is a chilling testament to the true nature of human evil. Even in death, Ted Bundy's legacy endures, a cautionary tale about the dangers of trusting appearances, and the terrifying reality that monsters do exist, they just hide in plain sight.